Hello, it's 1 FM in Accra. We are live in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Radio Wa in Wa, ATL FM Cape Coast. KTU is in Koforidua, Radio Max in Takrade, Lolonyo FM Hohoi, A1 and Dreams FM. Jack calls for the dismissal of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta over the poor state of the economy.
How do I do that? What would be the basis? What is the rationale? Their performance in my first term was excellent. Let me use that word, excellent. There's been a road minister who has a record like Ernest Manu. There's nobody, I want anybody to come and tell me one road minister in our country has put together the package of roads that Ernest Manu has.
We'll be live in Kumasi to bring you the latest. Meanwhile, things are not getting better with fuel prices up, the cedi depreciating, and already transport operators are preparing for a 40% increase in fares.
The
price adjustment does not affect us any longer.
We'll bring you details, and also here on the Midday News, nearly 80% of persons living in the spread poverty in many districts in Ghana. Coming up in sports.
Hearts of Oak fans continue to push for the sacking of key board members following the exit from the CAF Confederation's Cup. We'll hear from key stakeholders in 20 minutes.
George Addo Jr. will bring us details, and later John Hughes drags Ghana Airport Company to the Right to Information Commission over its refusal to release information on its contract with National Science and Maths Quiz competition underway in Kumasi. Presec Legon Logsons with Shama and Asanteman SHS at the 1-8 stage. Stay with us for details here on the Midday News. Many thanks for choosing us. The Ken Ofori-Atta, despite calls on him to do so. The poor state of the Ghanaian economy has necessitated the call, but the president says there's no justification, rather exonerating the finance minister from blame. Ghana is currently seeking support from the International Monetary Fund to stay the economy afloat. But despite the gloom,
under an IMF program, stringent program, this same man was able to manage the affairs of our economy in such a way that the first 4 years of my first term, we were one of the fastest growing economies in the world. An average growth rate of 7% to initiate the program Planting for Food and Jobs. Good. So somebody who has been able to do that, nothing so why would I say that? How do I do that? How do I do that? What would be the basis? What is the rationale? First term, no crown, my second term. For me, their performance in my first term was excellent. Let me use that word, excellent. And that is why I had very little difficulty.
The president also singled out the trade, agric, and employment ministers for praise.
You go to the trade and industries, factories that are growing up all over Ghana. There are about 290 enterprises that are on the table, of which about 120, 130. 290? Yeah, as projected, of which about 120, 130 have been realized. Apart from that, these developments that have taken place in the automobile industry, and there are some who are sent to crowds of the Nigeria to know about the Pequaya and also crowds, and then also submit me about markets. It's all permanent. What would be the basis? I mean, you give people a job. If they can't do it, yes, you remove them. But if they can perform, why would you want to get rid of them? Roads. I don't think there's been in our country has put together the package of roads that Ernest Manu has produced in these 6 years that we've been in office. Unprecedented. Yeah, but when it is so, because one state.
To commission some new accommodation for judges and inspect the maternity ward at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. My colleague Ohiminteya will join us later with an update of the president's tour. Meanwhile, here in Accra, commercial transport operators are pushing for up to 40 respectively. We have details of that for you. But first, let's hear from drivers in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi.
As at now, I'm now kasa you two fuel na ACDs. Say and 1 liter and almost 14 cedis. Still lolly fanny and 2. Pure water crana 20 30 pesos, 50 pesos.
He says fuel prices have been on the rise.
And the Pia brand yebre. Say you don't only and Panafu in JJ because Scandinavian so.
The time I started driving crown on a more than banana say by the more.
He says we spend all our sales on fuel.
Una crisis crying so. Nkampesa also when you be akufi. You know woman say
go to 2 minutes there. I just na fuel and I was do.
He says the transport fare adjustment is a good move, but the prices of fuel is still high.
Still na fuel and baby to a man and ever sounds on floka.
Na fuel transport no amutu lol femu amuntu and can.
He says the price adjustment.
Situation here in Accra. Michael Papani actually has been monitoring the situation and joins me in the studio. Papani, what are the drivers saying?
Well, first of all, they are not happy about the latest increment in fuel prices. It's selling as high as diesel 15 Ghana cedis, close to 16 Ghana cedis, and then petrol is now going for 50%. They would wish there's more. If that doesn't happen, they are hoping to stage another demonstration like what we saw last year in December.
Now, if I feel 800, it doesn't full up. Yes, from in and out, from Qatar to Accra, in and out, 1,000 loading feet inside. Now, before we reach house, can't get anything. So we are suffering.
At the end of the month, there is a funeral. He decides to go. Seeing the increase in this thing, the flow of passengers, normally even passenger doesn't flow at the end of the month, where we have funerals and so on. A lot of people travel. At that, there are queues. But now we will not see anything.
How come? We are suffering. We will load from Akuse to Accra. Let me say it's 280. You understand? All our loading will be around 392. In and out, we buy fuel. At first, we buy fuel at let me say 300. Now we are buying 450.
Issue. What do we know?
So Abbas Moro tells me that at the nick of time, the meeting was postponed and now scheduled for Wednesday on the 19th of October.
But you interacted with some passengers as well. What are they saying?
Yes, I mean, they tell us that coupled with the hardship in the system already, a further increment in transport fares right now will hurt them more. And unfortunately, it will also jeopardize their festive season that they're expecting in December.
Rate of inflation. Some employers say they have no option than to either cut down on production or pass on extra costs to their clients or simply lay off. Speaking on the Super Morning Show, some of them explained they have been forced to take this action against their will in order to survive.
We are making losses. We are going to move about 100 workers home. And I can't imagine myself seeing my wind keep moving because we're not going to get any interventions from the government or something. It's getting really, really, really worse. Also, because prices are going up, especially fuel, it means that cutting products from the farm gate to the factory is also having a challenge because prices of transport workers with the level of inflation and you are unable to maybe increase their salaries at the same rate as the level of inflation. It creates a lot of problems.
And they're proposing the following measures. They're hoping that government will hear their plea as part of the broad plan to get the economy back on track.
As hotels, what we can say is that the government must take steps to halt. It is confusing now. We cannot keep pace with the rate at which the city is depreciating.
We will urge respectfully the government to take the most prudent and appropriate and nationalistic decision to make sure that we have enough cereals and legumes in this country to enable those who use those products.
Super Morning Show. And nearly 80% of persons living in Nkwanta North District of the Oti region are multi-dimensionally poor. That's according to the Ghana Statistical Service in its new report to commemorate International Day for the Education of People on Poverty. Richard Kojonyako joins me in the studio with details.
How people in these districts are facing all forms of poverty and classifies it under some in that order. So the Nkwanta North in the OT region had 79.7%, followed by the Northeast region, 77.4%, Central Afram Plains in the Ashanti region, 75.3%, Krachi in Chumuru
district with the highest form of poverty. But does it also mention the district with the lowest poverty rate in Ghana?
Yes, it does. And so the New Joabin South Municipal Assembly, 4.8%, followed by Asokwa Municipal, 5.2%, Tema West Municipal, 7.1%, Ayawaso West Municipal, 7.3%, and then the Ghana East Municipal, 7.4%.
Interesting. Kojinako, thank you very much. And we have more on this on myjournline.com. Meanwhile, and other health-related data for the attention of policymakers. Professor Kobna Enim is government statistician.
7th round demographic and health survey, we're going to reveal all the disparities across different socioeconomic groups, across geographical areas, to really point diversity of analysis that we're going to engage in. And once I go through the objectives, you get a better appreciation of it. But two things that should guide us. We're not just going to analyze the Ghana demographic and health survey in isolation. We're going to analyze it in conjunction with other data set that we have, i.e. the population housing census, health survey.
And you heard the government statistician, Professor Kobna Enim. Now to our fight against illegal mining. Religious leaders drawn from all religious groups are this afternoon advocating for an immediate ban on all small-scale mining activities in the country as part of efforts to deal with galamsey. Speaking at a news conference in Fellowship International, Emmanuel Baba Mahama said all small-scale mining, whether legal or illegal, must be banned.
We call for the immediate ban of all small-scale mining. We have taken notice that many groups or companies, to that end, we call for an immediate ban on all forms of small-scale mining.
Spokesperson for the National Chief Imam Sheikh Aramaya Shaibu said religious leaders are appalled by the level of destruction of the environment. He cited recent threats by the European Union to ban agricultural produce from Ghana, including cocoa, because of galamsey.
Extra testing of our cocoa products before they can be accepted on their market. The European Union recently threatened to place an embargo on some of our agricultural products, and we are not certain about the future. And game reserves all depend on and drink and use these highly polluted waters also.
Let's go to the phone lines now. My colleague Kweku Asante was at this news conference. He joins us with more details. Kweku, first run by us the number of religious organizations who are participating in this campaign.
So Ernest, all the major Christian and Muslim religious groups in Ghana are joining. The Christian Council, the Catholic bishops.
In concerns that the religious leaders have not spoken early enough, what is their response to this?
So they've been saying that they've been using the pulpit, they've been preaching the message against illegal mining galamsey, but the devastation now is much worse than previously. They cite that documentary by Erastus Asaridonko to say that that is what has pushed them now to now speak in unison.
And we can now hear from Erastus Asari.
Experts believe Ghana is heading towards a future blacklist of its gold due to the illegal processes involved in the small-scale mining sector.
The world wants to see that livelihood of people are not impacted upon, and that people do not make their monies out of any means without it. It's not just because people are killing people, others to get the gold, but they are looking at how the gold is exploited.
The current devastation of forest reserves and pollution of water bodies in search of gold could lead to a ban on Ghana's gold. Director Doom for Ghana.
It is a reality. I mean, it happened to us in diamonds twice when the UN gave us the order to go on to the Kimberley Process Certificate. Now, the gold industry is being handled by the LBMA, and they are all concerned about the devastation of the environment. And because of technology, by their standard, based on the OECD, you even have to, were banned in 2013 by the Europeans and Americans, are also being squeezed to go by these same standards. So for this year, the KYC forms that came from Dubai were even more stringent than what it used to be in the past. So gradually they are squeezing us out.
And the final and third part of Distraction for Gold airs later this evening on the Joy News channel. Meanwhile, the further actions are being taken in collaboration with the Minerals Commission to activate the implementation of the Reclamation Bond, which is expected to be a strong tool in dealing with regulation and formalization of the mining sector. Here's the Executive Director of EPA, Dr. Henry Kokofu.
We have functioned a lot. We've been able to get into it. And we have those who have the licenses all right. Yet on the ground, the operations they perpetrate illegally. We are in tune with the Minerals Commission to activate the implementation of the reclamation bond by small-scale mining operators. And that is.
You had the former executive director of the EPA, Dr. Henry Kokofu. We can now hear from former chief executive of the Minerals Commission, Tony Obin, who says the Minerals Commission should be able to monitor licensed companies and apply the regulations indiscriminately.
Mining concessions. Some of them have the reconnaissance concession, the title. Some have prospectus. You operate outside the law. You're doing galamsey. You're being illegal. So the concessions that are properly given by the Minerals Commission, they should be able to monitor and apply the rules indiscriminately. I mean, sometimes we see discriminatory implementation of the rule and discriminatory enforcement.
You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Still to come, Joy News Healthcare. We have details as the Commission commences investigation into the matter after the break.
Charlie, in life, something must kill you. And for me, Rock GH, they kill me with juicy local shows, movies, and soaps all week, every week. See here, from Monday to Thursday at 9 p.m., Office Palava kills me with laughter and casa. Then at 9:30 p.m. from Monday to Friday, GH on DSTV channel 164 or GoTV channel 117. Rock GH, home of Ghanaian entertainment.
Glovo is the app that delivers anything you want from your city. When you work late, treat yourself. Order a Glovo and enjoy jollof, fufu, chicken or pizza. Or on days when plans with friends run longer. That easily and track your delivery until it arrives at your doorstep. Download the Glovo app now. Order food, groceries or anything you want. We deliver in minutes.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News with me, Ernest Manu. Time now for sports, and George Ado Jr. joins us in the studio at the time. Presec is leading at the National Science will be.
To see
that's important. That should be your mark.
Barcelona lost at the weekend as well. Hope you have recovered. But let's talk about Accra Hearts, folk, because the fans are calling for the sacking of key board members after the club exited the CAF Confederations Cup yesterday. Two board members, Vincent Soa Adote and Alaji Akambi, were held under tight police security at the stadium because angry fans were threatening to assault them after a 3-1 loss to Malian side AS Bamako 3-1 on aggregate. Heads is showing no sign of slowing down. Former captain Amankwa Mreku is not happy with the ball too.
For me, I don't agree with that decision. Football is about relationship between the players and the coach. And body na own pena, ma ononko. Like a mahamza and no form comra. You have prepared whatever you have in mind. Then you put in place. But then now you create a vacuum where there's no relationship, there's no rapport between the.
Anytime soon, but you can see how they're changing from quarter Hearts. It's now the 10 of Hearts, and we'll keep you right updated with everything that happens to the Accra Hearts.
And Mama V would need to know, so let's see how that goes. George, thank you very much for bringing us sports. Now, Joy News has dragged the Ghana airport release information on the company's contract with Frontiers Healthcare. As you may be aware, the airport company had in September 19 letter to Joy News indicated its inability to release the information, saying it is exempt under the Right to Information law. The Joy News team believe this position is not tenable and has filed a review with the Right to Information Committee. Are we seeking from the Ghana Airport Company Limited?
The contract between Ghana Airport Company and Frontiers. The reasons that led to the selection of Frontiers for the contract and the processes they went through to select Frontiers for this particular contract. We also want to know how much Frontiers has made so far and how much government has gotten from it. Totally, how much money has been raised from the testing period. This position that they cannot give us the information. because part of it is exempt according to Section 10. It does not hold a lot of water. We believe so because Section 10 is very broad. They didn't stipulate specifically which section of Section 10 they are coming under. And then conducted, as we know, that factual or statistical data cannot be exempted in such circumstances. So on the other issue to do with the processes leading to the award of the contract and the amount derived so far, we also rejected the view that the airport company is not in possession of the information relating to this. As a part to the contract, we believe that the airport company should be able to tell us what steps it took and which processes it went through. What we know is that it has written to the Ghana Airport Company, directing it to provide a said contract within 14 days. Okay. This is to enable the Commission determine whether it indeed contains information that is exempted from disclosure under the laws of the RT.
And the National Science and Maths Quiz is here again. We are the 1/8 stage of the competition. And this afternoon, as we speak, Persec is locking horns with Shama and Asanteman SHS. Maxwell.
Shama SHS has 6 points. Asanteman SHS has 14 points. Persec Legon has 22 points. We still have 4 more rounds to go, and any of these 3 schools could carry the day. Some pundits were saying that Shama SHS will give Persec Legon a good run for their money because they are the Western Zonal champions. We are rather seeing them to win the trophy for the 7th time this year. Kemper College also wants to win it for the 6th time to equal Persec Legon's title, and that seems to be the objective of the 2 NSMQ giants. Later at 2 p.m., we'll have St. Augustine's College to watch the Gasco Achimota School and Temple Islamic Science contest at 2 p.m. live on Joy News and Joy Facebook.
Maxwell, thank you very much. And of course, you can join the conversation also with the hashtag NSMQ on Joy. And the NSMQ is brought to you by... It's produced actually by Primetime Limited and sponsored by Quiz on Joy News. Is supported by Virtual InfoSec Africa, Virtual Security Africa, Vitamil, Cowbell, alumni by Enterprise Life, Fatex, Toilet Room, Ace Medical Insurance, Azar Group, Kings Group Limited, Family Health Medical School, the Basto School, DBS, Koba. On Sunday, the 2nd edition of the Joy FM Family Pop Quiz, the mini-series, came out successfully with Akosa Dai emerging winner. The mini-series show, which is aimed at engaging smart kids from the ages of 12 to 15 with interest in English language, science, social studies, and maths, aired on Sunday, October 17 here on Joy 99.7 FM with Adam Knight.
Decor Bilati and Adai Akosa. So what it is that the questions are there. There are some you will have to underline. There are some you will have to write. Okay. But I will be reading the questions out as well. So good luck to you, Alyssa, and good luck to you, Akosa. And our time starts now. Spell the word schizophrenia. So we're doing so. They made a profit of 32% on an article he bought for 3,200 cedis. How much did he sell the article for? And so let's do the science. The planet Earth is located in...
And the Joy FM Family Pop Quiz mini-series is sponsored by News on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm Ernest Manu. We have more stories on myjoyonline.com. Dr. Mensa Otabel is next on the radio with Living Word.
Hey guys, so I got this app. It's called Ayoba. It's a chat app that helps me with beauty tips and cooking my studies. And the good news is I don't need to use my data bundle because I'm on MTN. Charlie, the app just did be.
Ayoba, the all-in-one app that lets you chat, call, read, play, pay, and listen. Use Ayoba at no data cost on
days when plans with friends run longer. Get your snacks and drinks from Glovo and keep the party going. No diapers left? Order a